Hey, it's me. This is Guns. I'm sure you know you should like cut this part out where I'm like unless you want to keep that in. I don't know. You're the one editing. So this is an unscripted couch video because it's easy content. And also, I figured I should probably talk about my story as a Tokusatsu YouTuber. I have like 50,000 subs. I forgot my 10-year anniversary, so I figured maybe I should talk about how I started, what my thought process are when making videos, what I'm doing currently, what I'm doing differently, you know, stuff like that. So with that out of the way, can't believe I forgot my 10-year anniversary. And yes, I have my laptop out because I, to this day, still cannot talk about things from the top of my head, at least in a coherent way, which is why I have Guns editing this. Editor Guns. You can put your name here or something. I don't know. You can have like sparkly and effects or whatever. I don't know. Welcome Guns to the team. This is their first video. So officially, my channel says I made it on June 29th, 2009. I feel like I had something before then, because I have been watching YouTube pretty much since the beginning. One of my friends back in like elementary school, you know, grade school, one of my friends was like, hey, look up this thing called YouTube. And then after school, I looked it up, but I spelled it like the letter YouTube. And the next day I was like, hey, I think you lied to me because this site doesn't exist. And he was like, no, you have to spell it out YouTube. And ever since then, of course, as a little kid, I got attached to that technology, watched it every day, and it all went downhill from there. I watched pretty much everything you could think of that was popular at the time, of Smosh, Negahiga, other bigger funny channels. This is so hard to explain. Super into gaming, if that isn't obvious. If it wasn't Tokusatsu, I just play video games nonstop if I could. Probably a bad habit, but hey, it's what I love to do and it's my favorite thing in the world. So I watched a lot of gaming channels, Pro Jared, some Call Me Johnny. I mean, they were later, but I still, that's pretty much what I watch. Angry Video Game Nerd was one of the biggest channels I watched that was popular at the time. Stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you can imagine just a typical young kid on the internet and watching these funny hardy har comedy videos about his interests. I never really thought I'd be into content creation, honestly. I just watched YouTube just for entertainment or background noise, if anything. I would play video games and I would have YouTube on the computer and you know, do both at the same time, have it as background and listen to stuff like that. But content creation, I wasn't really thinking about that until I started watching more video game reviews. And I was like, oh hey, I like talking about video games. I play them all the time. Might as well talk about them. And so then I believe around then was when I made my YouTube channel. And let me say, earliest video you will ever find on my channel, on the Marcosatsu channel, is March 5th, 2011. But I can tell you now, I uploaded way before then with a not so good video game related videos. These aren't good, but I mean, I tried making like review videos. I tried making even like the precursor to discussion videos, but about video games. I even made like E3 videos. I gathered with groups of friends and made videos talking about that. And I can't even tell you how I got started doing that. I just was interested. I was like, hey, I can do that with my friend Dallas. And then we got friends together, we talked, we played video games, and that was pretty much that. They were as rough as you think they would be. Even in my Super Monkey Ball Jr. Let's Play, the very first official videos on this channel, you can see how rough they are because this was back when my family wasn't very well off, so our computer was a dinosaur, and I used Windows Movie Maker to edit pretty much everything. I also used a Rock Band microphone for years and years going into content creation. So when I made those Super Monkey Ball videos, I don't know what I was doing. I used fraps in like AVI, lossless quality. Those file sizes were like 10 gigabytes for like 10 minutes of content of recording. Started a lot, which I still do, but I was even worse back then. I didn't know what I was talking about. I wasn't that entertaining. The editing was so bad because again, it was on Windows Movie Maker, so I used their really stupid pre-made kind of editing software to bypass that, to be like, oh, I'm doing this professionally or more high quality. I used MS Paint and I tried to transparent the background so I could transpose those images onto Windows Movie Maker. No idea how it worked, but I did it. And so yeah, that was pretty much how the content creation rabbit hole started for me, was all this like video game review stuff. And do I regret it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Because that's how you start. Your first video is not gonna be this amazing high quality movie production that you just absolutely are gonna love for the rest of your life. Like 99% of the time, it's just not. And that's something you kind of have to accept. Oh, I'm gonna start this content creation thing. I'm finally doing it. You finally upload your video. It either doesn't do well, or you look back and you're like, oh man, look how low quality it is. But that's kind of the fun of it. I don't watch my old Super Monkey Ball. I don't watch my old videos in general. If I ever do go back to grab footage or just reminisce, I'm like, yeah, I grew a lot. I just see one of my descriptions says, why you know have great editing skills, A-Link. I did grow a lot. If you didn't know, I went by a lot of names in my YouTube career. My very first one was A-Link096. A because it was the first letter of the alphabet, Link because Legend of Zelda, and it was one of my favorite video games ever. It still is, but just not as much. And 096, I thought 69 was a funny number. Reverse it, 96. And so actually going into Tokusatsu content creation, this is a story I tell pretty often. I was into CinemaSins at the time, as most people were, and looking back at it in an adult lens, probably wasn't a good idea to have a lot of critique mind from that, but it is a learning experience. Of course, getting into Tokusatsu, I have a whole video about how I got into Tokusatsu, so I won't go in that deep into it here. Once I started getting into Tokusatsu, I got my friend Dallas into it, and since we were making videos already, I was like, hey, you know that CinemaSins thing? Well, we could probably do that too. It was not a good video. I still don't think it's a good video. But that was pretty much our bread and butter for a while. We were doing a lot of everything wrong with videos, watching a lot of these Tokusatsu movies together. One of my favorite memories and stories is, since we were new to Tokusatsu, we didn't really know much about it other than watching Sentai, the Sentai that was airing week to week. We didn't even watch Kamen Rider at that time, but we did watch Superhero Tyson for some reason. That was a bad decision. But we were also watching Kyoryuger that was airing at the time. So when we found out that the movie was out, we were getting ready. We had like this whole day planned of like, yeah, we're gonna get snacks and popcorn and pizza, and we're gonna hang out and just watch this Kyoryuger movie that we absolutely enjoy because Kyoryuger's fun. And we find out it's a 30-minute movie. We haven't been as disappointed since. I mean, at least I haven't. Maybe a couple times, but still, you get the idea. And then we were trying to experiment with other types. Like, we started honest trailers for Tokusatsu stuff. I don't think they were good either. I still don't even think the latest one or the last honest trailer was that good, but hey, we were still doing it for a while. We tried to do other little things like lore-related videos talking about some of the Kuga Grongis, how they came to be, some arcs, but those weren't good either. And I'm not trying to bring myself down. I'm just saying we did grow a lot. And then after a while, Dallas kind of just wanted to do his own thing, so I focused on the channel for the most part, and it became my thing. It used to be like Marcos and Dallas, or I think Marcosatsu and Dallas username, and stuff like that. But then soon enough, Dallas stepped away. He wanted to do his own things in life and stuff like that, and I still wanted to do this content creation thing because it was fun, and I liked it. A lot of people didn't. One of our recurring jokes was that Reddit did not like what we put out. And now I get upvoted on Reddit every time I say something weird. So, joke's on you, Reddit. The negative and positive things that I do want to focus on, in that growing a channel is hard. I think a lot of things in terms of online growth is really difficult. I shouldn't be the first one to say that, at least as far as you've heard. It is so difficult to make the video, upload it, and it doesn't get views, or maybe you just don't like how it comes out, and there's just a lot of things. Even my new videos, I still think like, oh man, I could have changed this, I could have changed this, I could have done this differently. But growing your channel, to me, is probably the number one most difficult thing to do, because there's a lot of competition. And me, as far as I can have with my educated guesses on why my channel grew so much, is because I got super lucky. Whenever I get asked about my channel, or whenever a certain someone discusses about my channel, and then we talk about, oh, how'd you get so big? What videos do you do? And stuff like that. And it's happened more than once. This isn't just me having some kind of allegory or anything. I have been asked about growing a channel and what I do and topics and stuff like that. And I always say I make review videos about TV shows and movies, and I got lucky from its growth. While I do say it is a lot of growth, I also want to say it's because this niche, this focus, not too many people were working on that stuff at the time. I want to say maybe like Easy Rider was the biggest one I could think of. Des Shinta did make Toku videos, but again, it wasn't very many people. While you could make videos about Tokusatsu, and there have been like one-off channels and one-off videos of people who have made like analytical videos about Tokusatsu, there wasn't really a focus too much on that, which is where like Easy Rider comes in, where he did make videos about Tokusatsu, but it was hard to keep them up on YouTube because copyright. The other reason why they got so big, and a lot of people might not like to hear this, especially with the backlash I've had over the years, is because it was recognizable content. Everything wrong with CinemaSins, that kind of style, it was already popular at the time. And Tokusatsu, while being niche, it still had a viewership, at least in America, and it was starting to grow, it was starting to blossom. So if you get a recognizable name, combine it with something that people don't know too much about or are getting into, you kind of get the views from there. And I guess one negative part, while it is also a learning part, is the backlash and the negativity you get. Because like I said, Reddit didn't really like what we were doing at that time. And I've also gotten a lot of, oh, you're just copying such and such and you're just putting Tokusatsu with it. And I'm like, yeah, that was the point. No one else is gonna do it. I mean, I might as well, and it's fun, right? At the end of the day, I guess, as long as you're having fun. And so after a while, we were doing a lot of this stuff, or I guess I should say I was doing a lot of this stuff. The editing was so rough, but I learned from it. I switched from Windows Movie Maker to Sony Vegas, and I didn't know anything about it, but I kind of forced myself to go as a trial by fire, just make this video, have this idea, write a script, use Sony Vegas to the best of your ability, and there you go. And that's kind of how a lot of these videos came out. The Everything Wrong With videos, I didn't even have a template. Every single time I made those videos, I started from scratch making those numbers and the titles and the subtitles and all that. So again, learning experience. And after a while making the Everything Wrong With videos, I was thinking, how about history of Kamen Rider? You know, Linkara has a history of Power Rangers. I think that's interesting. I like Kamen Rider. What if I make a history of Kamen Rider? I already have an Honest Trailers. I already have an Everything Wrong With. Might as well have this format, turn it into history of Kamen Rider. So I did. It was bad. I'm saying that again. Yes, it was, again, not a good video. And mostly because, I want to say it's just because I didn't research for it. And I did a little bit. It was a little bit of research, and I just said what was happening in Kuga play by play, and that's it. I mean, it still got views, so I really wish I had a better story of how History of Kamen Rider came to be and the behind the scenes of making them, but I don't really have much else to say other than I was interested in this idea. I went for it. It wasn't a good first attempt, but I kept going, and now it is the bread and butter of the channel. It is what most people know Marcosatsu for, the History of Kamen Rider series, or the Legacy of Tokusatsu series. Of course, I have Linkara to thank for that. I have viewers to thank for that, sticking by me and going along with my antics and shenanigans that I probably shouldn't have went with. And somehow, some way, all of that content just made this channel grow into what it is today. I wish I could go more. As I'm scrolling through my channel and my videos, it's pretty much just all straightforward from there. I made content with pretty much everything I could think of, which eventually branched off into other ideas, like the Abridged series, other reviews, like actual movie reviews, little skits, stuff like that, with discussions. We had movie commentaries for a while. What I like to think when it comes to Marcosatsu and the channel is that I'm more of a jack of all trades. And this is something I also want to get into, is like, you have this niche and you have a type of content, but what type of person and reviewer and content creator are you? So, as I said, I like to think of myself as a jack of all trades slash analytical, while Achilles is more of the funny entertainment and he does all the live streams, while Thomas Jujubee is also analytical, but he also makes these unboxing videos and these really fun smaller kinds of videos while making more focused reviews like he's doing with Don Brothers. And Thomas, what videos do you make again? Or Kazahenshin, who has Tokusatsu Showdown, and one of her focuses is Super Sentai and what she's interested in as someone who's new to the fandom and stuff like that. While me, my analytical side is mostly when it comes to these editorial videos or making these really, really long Tokusatsu video essays. And my jack of all trades is the rest of it. I try to dabble into a little bit of everything. A lot of it doesn't work, but it's fun. And if it does work, I try to stick with it. There was everything wrong with the honest trailers, the movie commentaries, the reviews. I just try to do a little bit of everything and see what I enjoy the most, see what sticks. I even branched off a little bit more recently with Dungeons and Dragons or tabletop RPGs and just giving it a tokusatsu flavor. That's what I like to do. What can I do that I think is fun while also giving it a tokusatsu spin? I mean, that is a general concept that anybody can do. You can think of an idea, implement it with tokusatsu, and there you go. I guess one of the biggest topics I can think of in the modern day and how recent tokusatsu has quote unquote changed, or how the community has gotten so much bigger than it was back in like 2009. It's hard to keep up with a niche franchise or topic or anything as small as tokusatsu. Sure, in Japan it's one of the biggest franchises ever. In Spanish-speaking countries or in Europe, tokusatsu is more celebrated. In America, we have Power Rangers, sometimes Godzilla, and this really small bubble of being a tokusatsu fan, or a slightly bigger bubble as a Kamen Rider fan. Not even Super Sentai or Ultraman or Garo or anything, just Kamen Rider. So yeah, it is tough to make the content. And then as the years go on, it can be even more difficult, because at this point it's like, now what can I do? Because there are a lot of reviewers, there are a lot of people who talk about the toys, there are a lot of analytical people who want to talk about the themes of a show or the characters and stuff. And I'm not even talking about just on YouTube, but like Twitter, there's a lot of people who can make threads upon threads upon threads just discussing like a single character. You can go with that, but you also got to keep in mind that, yeah, it is a sea of content. So, what makes you stand out? Are you more of a serious reviewer who really wants to talk about this character, how much they changed from the beginning, and how it's one of the best characters in Tokusatsu and their whole arc is just so important? Or do you want to be a really funny reviewer and talk about the toys? Like, look how long this is. It's so great, and I love this toy, you know? While there are a sea of content, you are still your own unique person, and you gotta stand out somehow. Probably should have had water before this. And I guess real quick, if you want to talk about money, I don't think of myself as like a big Tokusatsu content creator, weirdly as that sounds, because I'm sitting on a couch. I don't have a whole production team to like give me the lighting or anything. So I don't think of myself as like this big content creator. I mean, I have 50,000 subs, but even then I think I'm really small in the sea of YouTubers. Even me as this Tokusatsu content creator, it doesn't pay that much. And that's just ad revenues. The ad revenues don't give that much, and they haven't for a long time. I mean, it may just be me. The history of Kamen Rider videos are the only one to make a sizable amount of money, while everything else just doesn't. And that's something that I've been having to decide on, because, oh well, actually Hot Kelly showed me this video about Matt Pat and Anthony Padilla talking, and they were talking about how there are different eras of YouTubers, and the current one that we're in 2023 is more of like a business side of YouTube. And that kind of changed my perspective a bit because I am kind of acting like a businessman. A lot of these videos and YouTube topics and whatever I upload does come down as a business decision. And some things I know for a fact are gonna do better than others, while other things I have to accept I'm gonna take a loss on and, well, just do it for fun and just do it because I'm passionate about it. And that especially goes doubly extra for having a team behind me, for having writers and editors and people I commission for both art and thumbnails and all of that. All of that is just a kind of a business move. The moment you go beyond just yourself sitting down, writing your own script, voicing, editing everything by yourself, the moment you go past that, YouTube does kind of become a business. And that's why I've been trying to focus more on these bigger videos, you know, like the Legacy of Shin Ultraman, Legacy of Ultra 7. And again, they might not do very well, but that comes from cost versus passion. And the next big topic is, if you want to make tokusatsu content, or any kind of content at all really, you need to have the passion for it. You shouldn't do this just because, oh well, I want to become some big name in the community, or I know this is going to get me sponsorships and free toys and I'm going to get rich off this. It's not going to happen that way. I can almost guarantee 100% it is not going to happen that way. A lot of tokusatsu YouTubers, as niche as we are doing this out of passion. I know Pink Habanera makes a lot of these really funny bootleg videos of the Kamen Rider toys, and they're really funny. You can just tell he's having a lot of fun. Or Titan Doji, who makes a lot of these video essays, and they're just so cool to listen to, and I love having in the background. Or Blue Nova, also another analytical YouTuber, and I just love listening to them and hearing what they have to say. Or when I make videos about the same topics, I don't listen to them until after because I don't want to have my own thoughts skewed. But still, you get what I'm saying. As long as you have the passion for it, I say you should just do it. Go for it. Hawk and I have talked about this plenty of times, where we see a lot of people say, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to do this, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, but copyright stopping me. I don't know where to start. I'm not a funny guy. I don't know what mic to buy. That shouldn't stop you. I started with a Rock Band microphone in my dad's living room. You can start anywhere, as long as you just do it. Now the next big thing, consistency and battling copyright. I know this is gonna sound ironic because, oh, doesn't Marcosatsu like rarely upload? Or doesn't History of Kamen Rider only come out like a couple times a year? Yes and no. What I usually say is, try to have one video a week. Whether it's just talking to the camera on your couch, or being like, hey, this Tokusatsu news just came out and I want to talk about it, or even a live stream, those count. One video a week. If you can't make one video a week, one video every other week. You can't do that, one video a month. And if you can't do one video a month, don't know what to say after that. I'm not going to tell you to just like never make a video after that, or don't make the video ever, even if it is once a year. Of course, I'm not going to say that, because there are a couple of YouTubers, big YouTubers, who only upload like once in a while, like once every half month, and they're still big for a reason. But if you want to grow and you want to really be part of this content creator community, or just being part of the community in general, it is important to put yourself out there. It is important to be consistent and have videos, or be on social media. It doesn't have to be Twitter, it doesn't have to be Facebook, but just on some kind of social media to show that you exist. Because you do have to market yourself. You do have to be like, hey, I made this video. Follow me, know who I am, follow for the rest I have down the line. And if it's not a video, at least something on Twitter. You could be active on there. You could be active on Instagram. Show that you are here, you're a person, that you are making videos, and there's more coming. And that's kind of how I've learned to grow a community. You just start to interact with people, whether it's Discord, or God forbid, TeamSpeak and Skype, or Facebook, or something. And I know some people are gonna say, oh, the community is so toxic, but your community is who you curate. There's block buttons, there's mute buttons, there's a lot of stuff. And hopefully you don't have to do that. But you do learn to make friends and be part of this community. And if you don't want to do that, I mean, you still can make videos. It'll just be a little harder too. And then comes the copyright. This is gonna be like the last thing before I sign off, I promise. This channel has been taken down twice. Yep, for copyright. And they were taken down during times where YouTube kind of was my part-time job. So the ad revenue, as small as it was kind of important. The first time it was taken down while I was in high school, and the second time was when I was in college. And again, the ad revenue, while I'm not a lot, it did kind of hurt just not have that. And I think the most difficult part about that is there really isn't a way to fight copyright, the copyright ID bots at least. So in case you can't tell that this is being recorded on a different day, I have fill lighting now. So yeah, copyright has always been a weird deal with me because this channel got taken down twice. And it's hard to really talk about it in a nice way because I do get a lot of people that say, oh, I want to do this, but I've tried and my video always gets taken down because of copyright, but I was in my fair use to do it and yada, yada, yada. But I'll admit, there was a few times I got strikes and they were not for fair use. What I'm going to say now is that using long clips and not using them for review purposes or making them out of a music video or something like that, Toei are in their right to use them. They are allowed and successfully allowed to strike that video. The clips themselves have to be transformative or under the umbrella of a review. And even if it is a review, you still can't just play a whole 25-minute episode and expect it to be okay just because you say it's a review, even though you're playing literally the whole episode. But once you know that you yourself, you're actually in the right and this is fair use 100%, you can't dispute that, and Toei still decides to take the video down, it's still really hard to fight that copyright because YouTube takes a long time to get back to you. Now for myself, I have history of Kamen Rider under review/educational purposes. And I know some of you might want to dispute that yourselves, but that's officially how I have them under, and it's also how Toei recognizes them. So despite that, a few of them, and even some other reviews, like actual reviews that didn't have to do with anything, those got strikes. And it's really scary at first, but I promise you, and it is scary. It is a thing you don't want to do, but that's also how YouTube works. Subaraya has been more lenient on things, I'm finding, but that's also because I just think they're chill in general and a lot of things they do. But Toei's the strict one. And I guess by the end of it all, yes, copyright is a thing you're going to have to fight against multiple times. Even new YouTubers, new TokuTubers had to go through it. I remember Keza having to go through it not too long ago, and she's new, so like, yeah, everybody goes through it. I almost think it's like a rite of passage at this point to be struck by Toei. And with that, it's pretty much everything I have to say from the beginning of being a Tokusatsu YouTuber all the way to talking with Team Kamen Rider and making friends and having this semi-big channel and making these really cool videos. That's pretty much my story for the most part. If I forgot anything, that's on me because I am kind of a forgetful guy. So with that being said, thank you, Editor Guns. Welcome to the team once again. Thank you to my team as always. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.